Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unfit crew. How are you all today, my friends?
Doing great.
Existing.
Doing all right.
Okay, so you flipped it around once again. Anyway, after a few technical difficulties, we're finally fixed everything that need to be fixed. As well as, I think we fixed the echo problem that was last time, but yeah, I'm sorry about that last time. I don't know what happened, but I'm with headphone right now, so I'm hoping that will fix the case. But just like last time, just like last week, we're going to keep it the same formula of half of the video in the week that we recorded for you, and then in the week that we don't record is the part B, so you specifically have something more reasonable to watch, and I heard more of good things by doing like that. So, yeah, I think that was a welcome change for the entire thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. Anything else you want to add to the thing before we begin? Also, I wasn't full screen for some weird reason, so this is kind of annoying. And I'm not going to cut that out. I think this is fine. I wasn't full screen. That's okay. But, yeah. Things happens. I always goof off. Anyway, I'm not going to cut this off because I think that's kind of stupid. I kind of just put not full screen. Oh yeah. But if that's nobody have anything to say, we will begin the story or the recap of what happened last week. So anybody have anything else to say?
Now let's get into it.
Okay, so let's get into it. So last time on the Unfit crew, our three heroes, almost beaten up in the thing before it, saved the children from the orcs and goblins, and finally kind of got into that after their fight in the session before it. And they specifically mended their wounds, took care of the children, and found out something very disturbing in the waters. The first thing they found is the body of their friend to the town, Jonas, dead. But he wasn't just any kind of dead. He wasn't like the corpse is fine and he just died from being stabbed. No, it was more disturbing than that. Half of his body was part metal, or should we be more specific, armorish. And when Gorgnak opened it up, he discovered that everything inside at that side is empty. Except from being a symbol on the plate, looked like a helmet with wind behind it, and a feature on his right hand where that side was, the side of the metal, that his hand looks more birdish, or even had more like claws of a bird, or whatever you call it in English. Rather talons, more talon-like rather than actual hand, which looked very disturbing. And part of the metal kind of decided to sneak up and attach itself to Bobby's sword, which kind of freaked out the entire crew. The other thing that they found was the diary of the Orcaster. While going a little bit on detail on the things that he did, not really way too much, because most of the diary got destroyed and he fell into the waters in the said pit where Jonas was murdered and turned into this. And he specifically, the entire diary got destroyed. But Bobby was able to kind of decipher some of the stuff left. And he was able to find out the identity of this demon goddess called Ivers Zarile Id Iruk, or for short, Ivers. So that's what we're going to call her from now on, just to make for simplicity's sake. But her full name, like I said a few seconds ago. They took all of the things that they found, as well as additional more resources, or should I say, resources that they found on the orcs, as well as more clues, and took it back into the town. Well, they saved the children. The ceremony obviously got cancelled, but they brought it back into the garrison to be checked by Noella, as well as Professor Applefly. Well, the two weren't able to pretty much determine anything of significance that they kind of knew because it was also very different and weird for them. Noella did say that she's going to send up a message to her higher-ups to see what is up with this thing. What is this thing and what we should do right now? And because of that, she told the entire crew to spend a little bit more time in town before setting out to their adventures because she heard that they might want to go out very soon, but she said until this matter will resolve itself and until the report will be sent, well, you should stay here in the town because we don't want you going anywhere. We need your testimony for said stuff. And for the next 3 days, every one of the members kind of took their time either to harness their skills or learn new ones and just master new particular techniques as well as just learning new stuff. And after these 3 days, the 3 members of the crew met in the same tavern that it's all started, where Noella waited to them, talking to them, and told them they're one of the council members want to see them, but not just one. They have the option to go into one, but more than one want to see them. And that's where the choice was left off. And that's where we're going to pick up right now. As well, just one last thing, which I forgot to mention at the start. The map is revealed because the crew has now been given up the map of the kingdom, which is going to be very, very useful for you to see places, maybe speculated few things and theories if you're interested about that. But anyway, as you all can see, which I kind of like confirm right now, can you see the map?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, this is what she presents to you on the table, and she kind of like I said, going to do right now. She's going to do this kind of thing: 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm not the best drawer, but that's pretty much what she did. She kind of like gave 3 draws for those kind of towns, which I will delete later, obviously. But the point is, she kind of marked all of these 3 towns, and she kind of like said, alright, so we are here, right? And you have 3 options to go into. 3 of the council of 5 members, which are the people in charge of the kingdom, for the most part, except from the king and all that stuff, kind of said that they want to talk with you. And they didn't say specifically which one is matters, but they say that specifically they think they can give you some advice or kind of learn of the situation. Now, honestly, I wouldn't say if there was any kind of like a thing, I wouldn't say that like that matters, but apparently every one of the council members' personality is different, as well as each of the roads is different. Go figure, she says. And it's like, so you are presented with the choice to go to one of these 3 locations. Now, I'm pretty sure you know why you've been summoned, right?
Well, yeah, we're bringing testimony about what we saw in the cave, correct?
Yes, that's also, but also kind of like to learn yourself what you got yourself into. A little bit, if they will be able to. They haven't said anything, but I'm pretty sure they have kind of a little bit of an idea. Obviously, they're the people who are running the kingdom, so she probably know things that are around. So far, these are the 3 major cities that you can go into. Now, obviously, they're not as big as the 2 major cities, or the 2 capitals, which she points right now as I ping them right now on the map. But they're still major cities enough and bigger from this town, like 10 times or so, they're bigger places. And you have a choice to go to one of these 3, which kind of matters more than you think. So you want me to go down over them, or should I... You have any questions before?
Yeah, you should go over them.
Which one you want me to go over first? Ping the one that you want on the screen. You can do that with the cursor. Okay.
I think this one.
Okay, so the one that is a little bit connected to Bobby's town, like the one that after Bobby's town. You're talking about this one. Okay, so let me just pull up my notes because this is a few things that I wrote down, so I just... where is it? The town of, or should I say the city of Naporia. So just give me a second. Naporia, okay. So... basically, she says, you have 5 days to reach to each of these towns, pretty much. Now, of course, if you will be late a little bit, they will not kill you or just, persecute your head, but it would look like a little bit of a disrespect to the lords, obviously, or the council members, should I say. And in this town specifically, while it is the least dangerous out of the 3 routes, it's the one that takes the most. And because of that, you probably have to go a few days straight without a stop, pretty much, because, yeah, you have 5 days, and the journey to this place is a little bit less than 5 days, so I'm pretty sure you will want to go non-stop in order to arrive to it in town. And as for the person of the council there that you will meet, it's someone named, or should I say, Lady Leosine. She is pretty interesting, like to say the least. She's a very nice person from the rumors that I heard, but she's a person that will stand her ground when provoked, obviously. But if you want to go to her and also go to meet your family, she said she and you, Bobby, that's your option. But the town itself is going to be very, 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 very much like you. If you will go to your, of course, town, it's going to be like, oh, I'm just going to say hi, bye, mom and dad, and just going off, because you do not have the time. This is the route with the least time to take care of, because, yeah, this is while it does looks like, short to your town, the road between your town and Naporia is very long. Am I clear so far?
Correcto.
Yes.
And she will be able to provide you with pretty much the best of resources in terms of research. She have I would say the richest town out of the 3 options. She kind of will give you the ability to have more freely going over around her libraries and stuff like that. So she will give you the ability to maybe research if she will be able to. She will kind of provide you, of course, with the knowledge she has, as well as just giving you an additional, like I said, the ability to go seek for yourself stuff. Now, obviously, she's not really well versed in those matters as the way that she told me from her letters, but because she did decide, all of them decided to wrote down a little bit about their expertise and let you decide for yourself. But she specifically just have the most wide variety of options to choose from if you want to do your own research. So that's for the town of Naporia. Where do you want me to talk about next? Do you want me to talk about Mersley, or you want me to talk about This one is always hard for me to pronounce. Eporned. Which one do you want to talk about next? Ping again, so I can see.
I'd like Mersley, please.
Okay, so Mersley, this is your choice right now. Mersley is pretty much the middle road out of the 3. It's not too dangerous, but it's not too safe. Specifically, you will be passing out pretty unique forest called the Selnor Forest. It's kind of like 3.5 days from here, but the council member did say that if you have the time, he will muchly appreciate it if you will able to use a little bit of your added time to go and research a little bit on the woods and go find specific things that if you'll take, of course, his task, it will be presented to you. As for the person in charge there as himself, he's a very much old dwarf, which is not the most kindest of persons that I hear, and he's very, very well versed in history, but he is sometimes a little bit hard. You know, the old man hard kind of a person. Any questions about this one?
Nope.
What does he need? But maybe I should talk about this in character.
He pretty much wants you to go gather a few things from one of the nearby caves for history preservation and stuff like that. He said that it shouldn't be something serious, but kind of like, you know, a mini so-called cave have been revealed recently, so he wants a little bit of a band of adventurers to go not too deep if it's way too dangerous, but a little bit to go a little bit on the surface to see if they find something interesting out of it. And then just if they will go to him and they will give to him something nice, he will give them a reward. Now, of course, it will not, like, obviously just, like, throw you around if you didn't find anything, but it's like, if you will find anything, you will be very, very much accepted of that. As for the last town, Eporned, this one is the easiest to get to in terms of time, but the most difficult one, because the Elber Mountains are very treacherous. The person in there is probably the most, I wouldn't say the most notorious, but the most, by a lot of people, known to be the lowest of the entire council members in terms of, like, his status, but everybody is afraid of him for a good reason. He's a person that you don't want to make an enemy, but if you make him your friend, that's at least the rumors that I heard, he's a very nice guy, for the most part. Very reckless, but mostly nice. And he have a lot of verse from his ground of work. He knows a lot about divine and demonic stuff for some reason. He knows a little bit about these more than anybody else in the kingdom, probably. He have a little bit more diverse knowledge in those kind of things. And he did say that if you were going to come into his kingdom, or should I say town, sorry about Kingdom City, he did say that he will send to you an escort to wait for you in the bottom of Elber Mountains when you will go into his side, pretty much. He said that he will send you a little bit of escort to make it a little bit more easier for you to travel with somebody that knows, so you will not kill yourself, as he says.
Okay, can we go around the mountains? Not going through the mountains, but somewhere around them?
Well, honestly, you can, but it will take way too much time, and honestly, there are a few things that could happen, and let's just say this, he specifically doesn't care, but the king want to get rid of this ASAP, or at least the majority of the council want to just solve this issue specifically because it worries them for some reason. I don't know why, but they want you to solve this as soon as possible and just give you your testimony and your report with everything as soon as possible. So, you have your three choices. What are you going to choose from?
I have an idea, but I want to hear what everyone else has to say first before I start throwing out ideas.
I mean, this is a group choice. I'm just going to say this as a DM right now. This is a group choice. You decide yourself. Let's spark a conversation in-game. Let's spark a conversation in-game, and everybody will lay their arguments on the table if they have some. So let's get started with you. Who want to go first?
Well, as Wexley, I would like to hear everyone else's input before I start just throwing out
Fair.
plans or anything.
Fair.
Okay, so I think that Wexley would like to go to Naporia because research and he likes homework. He's weird like that. Aren't you, Wexley?
I don't think the pursuit of knowledge is weird, but continue.
I also don't think it's weird, but the amount you're doing is.
The duck.
Right, well, I think you had a point.
The duck quacks in agreement.
Hey! You quack down over there.
Hey, leave the duck alone.
Anyway, continue.
I think going to Epernet is the best choice. Well, it'll take the least amount of time, and the council member is well versed in demonic presences and anything that has with anything holy.
So pretty much you're saying you're willing to take the risk because the person there is pretty much have a little bit of an area of expertise for what you think this is all about, pretty much. You think you have the best chance to decipher this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Bobby, what do you think?
Well, I'm personally inclined to go to Morsley. The reason I say that is the path isn't too dangerous, and with my expertise, I should be able to get through the forest with you guys.
Oh, no, you're not Morsley. Your town is Naporia. Like, your town is the one that, like, lead from Naporia. You're going upwards. I think you misunderstood me. You're the one that, like, the small town that's leading to Naporia at the end. You're the I have to go fast travel. This is your home. I'm just going to say that. I think you misunderstood that.
Oh, I don't want to visit.
That's fine. If you need a second to take your argument again, that's fine. I think you just misunderstood that.
What is it? Morsley's through the forest, correct?
Yes. Oh, you're saying because of your background, you're well versed in this.
Yeah, since I'm a wanderer, should be pretty useful.
I thought
and
it's
also
because
I
you
like
meant your town. Sorry, my bad. I thought it's because your hometown. My bad. So you're saying your Morsley is the best option because it's in the middle, and you can do your thing and maybe get rewarded, and also just go through the forest because you're well versed in the forest. Interesting. Anything else that I missed?
No, that's good. That's pretty much my argument, that it should be capable of doing.
Okay. So what about Wexley?
Alright, so just to clarify, do we need to get to all of these towns in the next 5 days, or we just need to get to one?
You get to one, you report to that council member, and depending on that, that's also going to build, I'm just going to speak as a DM, it's going to build your connection with that council member as well a little bit later down the line, because it could affect you. Let's just say that this is a very matter choice. I'm just going to say this. It's not going to be like absolutely insane, but I'm going to say, like, choices, I'm going to make them matter and be felt like, as well as, like, I'm going to throw down two stories starts that I kind of wrote down today and just throw them out of the window after you choose.
The life of a DM.
Well, I think Grognak does have a point insofar as the council member in Epernet does have more demonic background and connections, which seems rather prevalent to our current scenario. They are a bit of a... seem rather vulgar, don't you think? Like, they don't seem to have the best connection with the other council members. Am I picking up on that correctly?
It's not exactly that they don't have any connection with the council members. I said that the people think he's the most vulgar and, like, the less respected. But in terms of the council members, everybody's not hating him. He's nice. He's just a little bit of a person that, like, you don't want to piss off. That's pretty much it. They don't hate him. You're not sure from the way that Noella telling you if it's, like, because they fear him or because they like him. But the point is, nobody hates him or said it out loud. The point is, like, the people in the kingdom kind of, like, respect him the least because his town is the most, should I say, the less reaches out of all of them. But in terms of, like, being a person, if you make a friend out of him, he's going to fight for you, pretty much, no matter what you're going to do.
Alrighty.
In terms of what it's going to be. Now, of course, like I said, every one of these, if you're able to complete and do their thing, you will build a connection with them. I'm just going to say that out loud. I know it's kind of sounding a little bit of a spoiler for anybody who's just hearing that out right now, but it is the point. If you're going to build with someone, you're going to build with one of these connections anyway for the story to progress. So your decision is which one to go into. What do you think is the best option for you? Actually, it's not really a spoiler, because honestly, you're going to build connection because you're going to see them. Yeah, I don't know why I said it's a spoiler.
But there is that thing that we'd be exploring if we went on the route to Mersley, and that intrigues me greatly.
True, but one thing that would be said, just because you cannot research right now doesn't mean you cannot later. That doesn't mean that the things will disappear. It just means that, like, you will choose to prioritize something different. That's the entire point here. Like, it doesn't mean that later down the line you will not be able, or in terms of story, and I'm not saying because I didn't really write that down yet, you may be going to go into that place. Like, you will go into this entire map. That's the entire point of the map. But yeah, like I said, it's up to you.
Blood declined to go to Naporia, actually. I'll give you my reasoning. It's kind of harsh that I don't want to go visit my parents for a few seconds, but it would be a rush trying to get there in a proper amount of time. And I think we should go there at some point later, as I think getting acquainted to the other council members will be better for us.
I'm with Bobby on this one, especially once we have more information and we know more, we can have a much broader research.
Then we're in agreement on Naporia, then?
We're in agreement that not going to Naporia.
No, Naporia.
Not going there. Okay.
So I'm going to delete the circle out of this, just because you specifically said you don't want to. Okay. Also, for some reason...
Then...
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose out of our options, then Eperned seems like the one that we should go to, because they seem to have the most relevant information prevalent to what we're actually going for.
Well, if both of you agree on Gloria, then I can, work with that.
Oh, they're saying Eperned. Did you say something? Because I heard like a little bit of a cut down. Did anybody said anything?
Yeah, so through the mountains or through the forest, whichever you decide on.
So
The mountains.
The mountains then. Okay, the difficult path you want.
Grognath says he's going for the mountains while doing stuff with his beard.
Okay.
Okay, Grognak wants the mountains, I want the forest. I think we should let Wexley decide the final choice then.
Wexley? The forest or the mountains?
Well, I am rather inclined to go towards the forest, considering my spelunking experience is rather sparse at the moment.
Mm-hmm. But there's always a but.
Go on.
You said there because you want to go... No, I said there are always a but because you said specifically because of... you wanted to go to... Hold up. Eperned because of the so-called research and capabilities of the person there to kind of like help you.
That's why I say we go to Eperned.
Okay, so you're saying you're going to Eperned. That's what I'm trying to say, because you specifically kind of like, I said there are always a but. I meant like but because you are going to say something. So it's like, I thought you were going to say something. So Eperned is your choice? Final choice?
Let's go that way.
Okay, so I'm going to delete the circle for this one, and we're going to set our adventure to Eperned, which is going to be our next destination. I'm going to kind of make this bigger. Okay, so the circle will appear nicely on the screen. So, she said, okay, so you decide to go to the harsh route, right? You want to go to Eperned. Very well, she says. As she kind of like take two particular letters, like 3 letters, open the one with Eperned in the name in it, and the 2 others burn, pretty much. This is kind of like, she said, this is kind of like to let them know which one you chose. Now again, it's not saying that they will hate you or hunt you down because you're just deciding what the best for you, but it will maybe affect later down the line if this will go a little bit more on, she said. But she kind of like opened up the letter and just say, okay, so here's your instructions, as she handing you down the letter, pretty much. Do you read it? Do you take it? What do you do with it? Do you burn it?
I'll go ahead and read the letter.
Okay, so it's written in kind of... It feels like a human writing for you, but not really bad human writing, because, you know, humans always writing like animals. But the point is, it's written down there that's like pretty brief and simple, and very straight to the point. It said, that's like, just meet my person there in the Elber Mountains down, and bring out the password, which will be, what would you like to eat? And if you will answer, if you will answer something along the lines, you write along down anything that you brought with you, this will be the person with you to go with, and he will be, or the people that should escort you to me, pretty much. Because otherwise, well, I'm very much hoping that you will have the easiest of time to go to Elber Mountains, because they're not the most easiest to. And he just write there down also like a little bit of a PS, I think that you write down, like, you know, the additional. He said, I would not mind you going around the mountains, but the king and the other council insisted, so what can you do? That's pretty much what he wrote down. And pretty short letter, pretty straight to the point, and yeah, that's pretty much it. He didn't wrote anything crazier, just these 3 to 4 lines, that's it. That's what he wrote down. That's your instructions. Do you tell me?
Alright, then let's go
Good. Who want to go first?
Let's back up.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Jacollo.
Gorgnak, go ahead, because I think like it was kind of a little bit like everybody speaked above each other. So Gorgnak, what do you want to say?
Those instructions, quick and to the point. I like this guy.
He does known as the most resourceful out of the council members. Noella told you. And she kind of like, okay, so yeah, pretty much straight to the point. And she kind of like hand to you a pouch to you. And she kind of like give you the pouch and is like, here you go. This should help you a little bit on your journey.
And that is?
This is about 25 gold for each of you. Something I was able to gather a little bit. I think you will need it a little bit more than anybody on my, or I would say me right now. I pretty much got to drink way too much recently, which is, well, I do like it, it's not healthy, so for this month I'm just giving you my share of money, so I don't really mind, she says.
Thank you. Let's Leothas bless you.
Right, Grognak, don't spend it all on alcohol.
Little did they know that Grognak already have enough alcohol for the next few days.
Grognak has never enough alcohol.
True. He has enough things to prepare the alcohol for the next few days. Which is not enough, yeah. But still. Alright then.
Should be enough for the mountain trip.
Alright then, she said. Well, if you will go into other paths, I will give you specific mounts and stuff, in case of the gold and stuff like that, but the point is, you're going through the mountains. I think giving you horses will not be smart. She says, and it's like, it's kind of not smart to use horses at the mountains, so I think you will have to make it by foot, but apparently the council member pretty sure you're going to be able to make this very, very fast. But that's pretty much it for me. Good luck on your journey. And yeah, she said as she kind of like waved
I have
to
a
you.
question.
Yes.
Can we get a donkey?
We don't have a
Not a
donkey.
horse, but a donkey.
A donkey will not help you. Also, we don't have one available.
Do not ask for a duck again, Grognak.
Well,
I would love the duck to go as well, but I don't think she'll leave.
that's because
the little lassie alone.
if you want the duck to come with you, that will be my say in the matter. You kind of like turn around and you see Lisa kind of like standing in the counter there. It's like Noella kind of like waves to you, and she gone already. And like your side turned into Lisa in the counter, and she kind of like finish polishing a cup or two, and she says, "If you want Mendel to go with you, well, that's pretty much up to me if I will even let that happen."
And I assume that's a no.
Well, he is dear to me, but what do you think? She kind of like stares on the duck if she had eyes. The duck stares at you, the duck stares at her, and let me roll something. The duck is like staring at her for a second and just immediately goes to you.
Oh no.
I rolled a nat 20. What do you want from me?
Duck.
You kind of like...
I pet him. Good, Wendell. You're the best. High five.
Well, I was pretty much sure that this was going to happen sooner or later, she said as she pulled up kind of like what looking like a stick. A weird like carved... kind of like a carved stick with like leaves and stuff. Like it looks like carving on the stick or the stuff like that. It looks like it's carved like that. She pulled it out down the counter and just put it up there on the counter itself, like pulling it from down there and putting on top of it. She kind of like put it. You should take it with you, though.
And what's this?
Well, I'm not going to let you take my little boy without me seeing him from time to time, aren't I? Or at least hearing him. So, she said, once in a while, if certain things will come, and certain scenarios will happen at night, you will be able to kind of go, by putting this as like, she kind of like trying to bring a cup and demonstrate. She kind of like take the stick and just put it like you put it like this, kind of like put it like in the mug. Is like you put it like this in like a hole in the tree, and you kind of like turn it around. It will open up kind of like a small way for you to come visit me in a special place for a few hours and then go back to your business. It's kind of going to be our special nice place. Remember the place that we're going into when we were kids, Wexley? Wexley?
Boy, as a player character, I wish we did.
You roll wisdom. Roll straight wisdom to see if you remember. That's the entire point when I'm saying things like that. You need to roll wisdom, if you remember.
There you are.
That's a 10. You very hardly remember. You do remember that you were gone with her and your other family, cousins and stuff like that were around, but not really way too much. You just heard, you remember it's like a little bit of place in the woods that was a place for you to go at, like doing your things as children. You don't remember anything more than that.
Oh, just old memories. They've a couple hundred years. We'll let those sink by, I suppose.
You've forgotten a little bit. I cannot blame you. You kind of stopped coming to there once you started to go into the tower, which again, I don't blame you. It's a great place for you. But the point is, this is the place, a little bit of the mini house that we built there, like the tree house. It'll be available for you to just hang out there as like a safe place for a few hours once a month. So you'll be able to use this once a month in certain nights. Then you'll be able to come and see us, or see me specifically. I will not be able to see you, but she's pointing to her blindfold and the fact that she's blind, and kind of laughs, but, you know, it will be nice from hearing from you. And you can always just send to me a message before you'll come.
Well, thank you for lending that to us.
Well, it might going to save you from few troubles in the future, so that could be good for you. Well, is there anything else I can do for you before we'll go set off for your adventure? As last thing?
Unless anything's slipping my mind, I think we should just get our supplies together and go mountain climbing.
Anybody else want something? I'm just going to ask you, Gordnak and Bobby, do you want something specific? Because you're going to leave town now.
No, I got my 4 days of rations last time for both eating
Is it for
and
everybody
drinking.
or for you specifically?
I got for everyone.
Okay, so I just want to check that out, because I didn't write that down specifically because I forgot, or should I say, like, I don't write ration downs way too much. I just remember that you got, like, few days, like 1 day ration anyway, kind of like everybody getting at the start, and you got, like, for 5 overall right now. So I kind of didn't really need to write it down because there are technically 5 spots in the character sheet, so we're just going to take one of them down every single time. But, yeah. So you're going to set up to your journey. Mendel is going to come out with you to this said journey because the duck want to come. Who's taking the stick, by the way? Just to kind of like have a general knowledge.
I'll give it to Wexley.
Okay, so Wexley is in charge of the stick. The
Special stick.
Special stick. And who has the letter? You do need to remember the password.
I should still have the letter as well.
Okay, so do you remember what I said before the password is, just to make sure that you remember it?
From what I remember, the start phrase is, "What do you want to eat?" We're supposed to respond with anything you brought with you.
No, you're supposed to say, "What do you like to eat?" And he would say, "With everything you brought with you." That's the other way around. I just want to confirm that because I just want to make sure you remember it. I didn't like skip it way too fast. That's the point. Anyway, you kind of set up to your journey finally, leaving the tavern, the Dancing Duck, for, well, you don't know how much time is going to take before you're going to come back to Hillford. But you leave the town as, just like last time when you're going to check what the children and what's up with them in terms of the ceremony, the gates close behind you and you're starting your journey right into Eperned. And you're starting your walk into the Elber Mountains. And yeah. Is there anything you want to discuss before you'll just get there? Because specifically, it wouldn't take way too much time to get to there. In fact, last time that you got into the cave, you kind of were really close to Elber Mountain's start anyway. So you take a little bit of time in the same so-called path that you go into, that you gone last time, until you reach a little bit further into the bottom of the mountain, where you look around you and you don't really see anything. It's pretty empty. You look around you. Nobody there. Pretty empty.
Well, that's a lot of empty.
I guess. The person was supposed to be on our side or the other side?
I'm going to take out the letter and reread it just to make sure about those details.
What do you mean by other side? Just trying to understand that.
On our side of the mountain or...
Your side of the mountain.
Out?
Your side of the mountain.
Okay. So, Rognak takes a deep breath and screams, "What would you like to eat?"
Everything you brought with you! You hear back. But it's from behind you.
Oh, that's terrifying. Who's behind us?
He's not, because he's not on the ground, he's sitting on a tree. You see him kind of like a hooded figure with kind of a light blue kind of hood, kind of like a coat hood, and he kind of like sitting there in like the top of the tree, kind of like you seeing like a little bit of a smile on his face, is looking at you and is like, "So you're the people that I need to escort to the other side. Cool. Hello."
Hi.
He jumps down, very much at ease, and he's not very tall. What's the height of your group, just to let me know, kind of like the height of your people there?
I believe Wexley's about 6 feet.
Is lower than Wexley. Is like he's 5.5, I think, or even less than that. He's a human, but he's smaller than you.
Finally, someone that I don't need to look up too much.
Right? He said as he talked to you as well. I was like, right? Anyway, so you're the people I need to take to.
Yes, and who might you be, noble guide?
Noble is not really the name I will go with. He said as he take down the hood. You see like kind of like a black hair with like a little bit of like touches of white here and there. It's not like, spots, but like, when like your hair started, like every 10 hairs or so you have one white hair, pretty much. Like, I'm over exaggerating, but you know what I mean. It's like every few hairs or so there's one white. It's noticeable, but it's not something that's like, oh my god, he has spots of white on his entire hair. He has green eyes that looks very, very... at one side, it looks like they're looking at you very, very fondly, but on the other hand, it looks like they're very tired and old for some reason. He's very young. Mostly, I think he's a little bit older than Bobby, because I'm not really sure what age Bobby is. What's the age Bobby is?
He would be like a young adult.
Age 20s?
Yeah, I'd say 2022 or something.
Yeah, he's something around that line as well. Like I said, a little bit shorter, and he has this kind of like a light blue hood kind of a thing with the symbol around on the back of an open book with a sword on the on the side, like, kind of like a cross side, but behind the book, kind of like behind it, and rose on the other side, and just looks at you as like, hello. It's like, my name for this part, I will give you a little bit my full name later, because honestly right now it's not really a good idea, because I've been told not to, and my name is AK for this journey until we'll reach Ypernet, and then I will tell you my full name. I will not mind that, but for now, call me AK.
Okay.
If we guess your name, do you have to tell us what it is?
You can try.
Seriously.
We might need something to do to pass the time. It's a large mountain range.
Not really that large, if you know where to cross into. And he pointed on the mountain. He pointed on the mountain and it just shows you a little bit of a path. For you see, you don't have to pass the entire mountain to get to the other side. There is no reason to go on top of it and go to the other side. That's a lot of people's making the mistake that they need to climb to the top and then go down. There's really no reason for that. Honestly, we just need to go a little bit up, but still the climax could be very harsh, he said, and it's like rolling his eyes, and you just go down there a little bit, and then you go to the other side to the small town before Yperned, and then you get to Yperned. It's not that difficult, honestly. It should take us about 2 days and a half for the entire thing, if we're not stopping at all.
Also,
Well, that
Wexley,
sounds reasonable.
also Wexley, we're gonna look
And by-
Wexley up and down. You'll have something to pass the time climbing and no.
Okay.
Right, of course. I forgot that I had to use all of my brain and my mouth to climb things.
I was mostly talking about your very feeble arms and legs.
I don't know what the heck are you talking about in terms of like your group dynamic, but I think I'm starting to like it. He said, smiling, and it's like also one thing. When I meant 2 days and a half without stopping, I meant with reasonable resting, like 4 hours or so at the very least. That's what I meant. I didn't say like non-stop without stopping at night. I meant with an actual basic stop. That's what he said to you.
Fair.
Okay. So, shall we get started?
Before we get into the mountain range proper, I think I want to deploy my new friend just to make sure that they're out looking out for us.
New friend, he said. And he's
Yes, I would like to whistle for my familiar, please.
But the duck is already with us.
No, that's your friend.
My best friend.
Mine is a much more noble creature with a much more regal bearing.
Oh my god. That line. But Duck is already here. That line just killed me. Anyway, you whistle, and from the so-called skies appears right on your arm an owl. It's taken a few seconds, but an owl land on your arm as you present it. He turned his head 180 and looks at Gordnak because it's standing behind you for some reason, and then he just turns to you.
Everyone, this is Chester. Say hi to Chester.
Hi, Chestnut.
Oh, Chester.
Chester. Anyway, they'll be looking out for us and helping me out with my various pursuits. And they can actually fly, as opposed to another winged creature that we have in our party, who just wants to waddle everywhere.
I mean, nobody said Mendel can't fly, he just never felt that he needs to fly. Nobody said he can't. He's still a duck. A duck can fly, by the way.
Teamndl is very majestic. He's just a little bit shy to the sky.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh yes,
Well,
a duck can fly. Mendel is lazy.
I don't know,
Wendell-
he just didn't find it necessary.
Wendell is amazing, and Wexley, remember that Lisa will probably hear all about this.
I'm not afraid of what she has to say about this. She knows my disdain for Mendel.
She may make a song about it.
You say, as I'm not really sure, but I want to make this idea. It's like, I'm not saying that I'm not afraid of her. You say, as you're absolutely terrified. But seriously now, Mendel's like looking at your owl, which is Chester, and is looking at him. It's like kind of like flies, kind of like bursts his wings and like kind of starts flying and landing on your other arm. And he's looking at
Oh
him.
dear.
And it's like they're kind of like looking at each other for a second, kind of pecking each other, like not violently, but like pecking each other, and then it's like they're flying off to the ground and start playing.
For some reason, this is adorable.
Yeah, for some reason it is, says AK. Also, I have a bird, he says. Otherwise, how am I supposed to send the message? He says as he whistles. And he gets a crow out of anything. A crow lands there as well. A black crow.
Ah, good. I'm glad to see that we have a whole avian attaché.
Apparently
I'm
we
the only
do.
one without a bird companion.
Okay, Bobby, now you have to whip up your bird.
Yes, like it's like Ega is like looking at you, putting a hand on your shoulder and just saying, "Don't worry, bud. We'll find your bird someday." We have a bird in all of us.
Probably roll a one and just die on me. Wink, wink.
No.
We shouldn't call this the Unfit crew. We should call this the Unbird crew or the Bird crew. That's so dumb. Anyway, you gather your birds, and AK just like taking something, scramble it down, and just send his bird. Right about just leaves, just kind of start flying to the mountains to the other side, and then, well, what are we going to do right now? He says. Do you want to start finally, or there's something else you want to do? Hello? Anybody's here?
Yes, there
Yeah,
is.
here.
Says
Okay.
Grognak while pouring some ale.
I just asked if there anything you would like to do or you'd like to go on. I thought I wasn't clear for some seconds.
Well, we're getting close to break, so we should probably start off on that being our part B. For
After the break, I
Stop metagaming this.
Never!
But seriously though, let's start this.
Let's go!
So, you're taking your time to start climbing the mountain. And at the start, it's not really that difficult. Honestly, it's pretty easy, actually, at the start. Like, you don't really have any issue, and AK does a very, very good job. That is, before, well, like you said, weather problems start to rise on the mountain. And
about Dragon Ball.
no, I'm going to finish this in another point. And I want all of you to roll for me. I don't know what do you need to roll for that. Just give me a second. I think it's a Constitution saving throw. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well,
Yes!
I'm gonna
Yes!
let this one down.
okay. So Bobby and Gorgnak, you suffer 1 point of exhaustion as well, Wexley kind of collapses in the middle of the road.
Have enough birds to carry him.
No, not enough birds. You're taking up Wexley, you're grabbing him, and then AK just says like, "Oh man, this is getting tougher than I thought." And he's also looking very tired. Like he's trying to navigate you in this storm. It's kind of weird for you because down there it's supposed to be spring, and right now up here it's crackling with storm like crazy. Well, it's not snowing or anything, it's very much heavy raining. So, I want you to roll for me perception check, all of you. Okay, so Wexley specifically, even though he was a little bit of kind of like almost passed out, you were able to wake him up, and he kind of spots a nearby cave. It's like he's pointing like faintly and just saying, let's go there, he says, as you kind of like drag him into the nearest cave to try to pass on the evening, because it started to be evening and the rain started to be stronger. And that's where we're going to take a break. I think that's the place that is good to take a break. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yes, next time on Ball Z. Oh wait, Unfit Crew.
Next time on the Unfit Crew.
But seriously though, this is going to be the time we're going to take a break, and we're going to pick off for you all next week.